Hey everyone, welcome back. It's a Monday, President's Day, so it's a little bit of a slow day. Decided to let me mute some of my stuff here just in case. Um, Wanted to look at Google. So Google is, uh, another one of those stocks that needs very little introduction. Um, it started off as a search engine company and has gotten into pretty much everything. Let's start off with looking at some of the basic fundamentals. Um, so, quick glance on FinViz. I mean, pretty much is everything neutral. Price to book is not too hot. Um, I mean, there's a lot of green over here in the performance per week, month, quarter. But when we look at the basic fundamentals, it's looking pretty neutral. Nothing too crazy. On the analyst side, pretty much everything since, let's see here, since pretty much everything, it's bullish. You have buys since May. There was one hold from Pivotal, but ever since it's been buy, outperform, outweight, um, overweight. Uh, hold, buy, outperform. So pretty much on the bullish side, bunch of news. That's always fun. Um, and here's where I like to look because this is where I put the most weight of, not all the weight of stocks, but a big chunk of it goes into insider trading because, like I said before, if a company is, if the insiders are bullish, typically they want to either hold or they're going to buy. And yeah, of course, in some cases they're going to want to profit and sell, but you don't want to see too much just like this, a lot of sales. So we have a lot of sales that to me automatically is going to be a little bit of a warning. And let's dive into the monthly. Okay, so on the monthly, on a log chart down here, you can see the bottom right corner. And by the way, made the mistake of wearing white again. I always forget. So if I'm disappearing on you, I apologize. It's yeah. I'll see if I can remember that or get a proper green screen versus lighting a white wall. So okay. So let's look at the monthly. I haven't even looked at this previously, so bear with me if I'm a little bit slow on the on doing some of these things. I'm just kind of going with it. So I'm going to draw a array from, let's go back here, and I mean, you don't need to draw an array to see that we're on an uptrend. I just wanted to see if if it broke through, and sure enough, it did break once, but briefly it broke through and then basically landed on support of that trend line. It's crazy bullish. It's Google. They are the alphas of search, ads, pretty much everything online. Um, but always good to see, just good to confirm. And so on the macro monthly, I would be concerned if it gets near or breaks below this trend line. It doesn't look like it's going to get anywhere there soon. So yeah, I wouldn't go too crazy. It's tested the 20 EMA, so that's actually a good buy-in point. If you're long, if you want to buy into Google, don't buy at these highs. Wait for a pullback. It looks like the 20 EMA is being respected, so we might have a small pullback. Let's see on the monthly if we can draw a Fibonacci and try to go from June 2019 until there. Let's switch that to a regular Fibonacci. And sure enough, right now we're at a 61.8. But for that to happen, we would need to, on a monthly, that would have to turn over right now. That's, unless the market tanks, I don't see that happening. Unless you have a, candle like this, yeah, might be able to do it. But yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath. But most likely, we have to see how this trend continues. By the time it rolls over a bit, this 20 EMA might be closer to that 38.2. Of course, by that time, this might go it's likely to go up higher. So um, if you're bullish, I would wait for a pull to the a touch of that 20 EMA. That seems to be respected on the 20 on the monthly. And on the RSI, it's been bullish above the 50. It's gotten close. I don't even, yeah, it hasn't even touched. It's gotten close to 51, give or take, of the midpoint level on the RSI. And ever since August 2019, has been above the that average, that moving average that I have there, that red line. And stochastic is on the traditionally overbought area, but like I've said before, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to roll over. It just means that it's strong. So yeah, and it comes from a nice market structure, a little W. Actually, that's a huge W because we're on a monthly. So everything is just pointing to this being a strong stock. Nothing overly any kind of warning. The only warning that I have here is that this has been a very long uptrend, so we might have a pullback. If we draw that Fibonacci again, a pullback to the 38.2 would be healthy, and it would still be within the realm of this trend line. So, and by that time that happens, this 20 EMA might hit there. So that might be at the 1330, can't talk, 1350. That would be, yeah, I think that would be decent if it rolls over pretty much right away and tags that, or goes a little bit lower to that 50%. Makes sense. So 1250, give or take, or 1275 to 1340, 1350. That would make sense for if you're long to kind of buy into that. So let's dive into the weekly. I'm gonna try to make these videos a little bit faster. I'm gonna try to reduce my ums and my so's. I heard one of my videos and cringed. So I know that I don't like to hear it when other people say it. So I apologize, and I'm working on it. Just bear with me. Hopefully what I tell you outweighs my annoying ums. There we go again. I was about to say so. And on the weekly now, once again, on the RSI, we're very bullish, very bullish. We're above the 60. We've been above the 60 since, let me see here, since October. Pinned to the overbought and stochastic. Once again, doesn't mean much. If I do see it rolling over here below the 80 on my stochastic, then I would have a little bit of concern. Not concern, but I would just see a pullback, and most likely again to this 38.2. I think, yeah, there hasn't really been much of a pullback since back here, but we can argue that that this swing low to this swing high here, we would be looking at again pullback to the 38.2 down to that 61.8. Maybe even down to 786, and that wouldn't even break the trend line. That would just be another continued healthy correction. So yeah, anywhere between 1240 and 1400. I know that's a big target, but you can layer your buys. You can literally have a couple buys. So you can have one buy set there, set another target at the 50% level, at the 61, and again at the 78.6. So you could have 3 to 4 layered buy-ins, and hopefully this happens and it just keeps going forward and you just keep profiting, and that way you secure yourself. So you have, let's say if it's if you want to partake into the stock with 100%, and you could do 25, 25, 25, and 25% to kind of like split that up. If you want to skip this 50%, let's say, you could do 33, 33, 33%. So that way you kind of spread your buys. Consult your financial advisor before anything. Yeah, you want to make sure that your portfolio and everything is lined up correctly. But that would make sense if you want to buy in, and that way, if it rolls over to 38.2, you at least have some some skin in the game. And if it keeps going forward, then you're good. If it has another pullback, then you just average dollar in. And if it goes further to 78.6, then once again you just keep average dollaring in. And if it breaks that trend line, then that's where you have a little bit of a concern, because historically it really hasn't. Um, it's been a very well supported area. So if it were to break significantly below that trend line, then you would either consider selling, or it just depends on what your particular plan is. Again, consult your financial advisor. But there's not much to say on the weekly. It's a continued uptrend. If we draw some, I guess we can start off from the monthly and draw some horizontals here. And there's a pretty key area right around here. It's probably a lower one there, but I wouldn't go too crazy with that one. And then there's another one right around there. I'm not going to muddy it up too much, but let's go into the weekly. So this kind of makes sense. So this adds another layer, but for this to happen on a weekly, this has to roll over pretty quick, because you have a horizontal support there. You can kind of tweak this a little bit where it goes. Again, this is more of a zone, but that makes sense there, somewhere between the 61.8 and 78.6. That's usually a buyback zone anyways. So if I was going to buy into the stock, which I'm not, but if I were, I would be looking at this area here as a support zone. You have the horizontal, you have the trend line that's creeping up, you have the 50 EMA there. A lot of little confluence between the 61.8 and the 78.6, which happens to be between basically $1,240 and $1,300. I think that's a good buyback zone. So if I were thinking about getting into this, maybe put a small position at 38.2 at this near $1,400 level. And if it keeps rolling over, then buy a little bit heavier between the 61.8 and that 78.6. So between 1,300 and 1,240. So let's go into the daily. On the daily, let's see here. So on the daily, let me take off this. Probably have to redraw this anyways. Let's take that one off. Zoom out, and let's see if we have another horizontal. So you can do on the daily. For argument's sake, we have that right there. We have right around there, we have another support, horizontal, I guess I should say. And of course, we have this little section up here. So how does this line up on a daily? So on a daily, I guess we can go back down to here. This is going back down to, let's see, to December. Yeah, this is going back to December, this swing low here to this swing high of a couple of days ago. So we have this horizontal right here lining up perfectly with that 78.6, which is that 1330 range. The 50 is well past it. So I think in the meantime, we have a quick stop at the 38.2, where we have this daily horizontal here. I think that would make the most sense. If we were to break that, I think we can see it going all the way down. There's not much, this was a quick rally up, so just as quickly as it went up, it can go down and test between, I would say, this little order block area here, between 1365 and 1335. So that's how I would see it. If it does roll over, breaks below this horizontal, first test in my point of view is that 1440 section, 1430 to 1440. I expect some buying back there, and then if that breaks, going down to basically between that buyback zone, between 61.8 and 78.6, specifically this 1365 area, that would be most likely, it is the next area of support. So yeah, between the 1365 and 1335, you have a couple, like a $30 range there. And maybe by the time that happens, the 200 will act that's even further support at the 78.6. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if any of that happens, you're still well above this trend line here, this long-term trend line, and that would not be bearish, even if it. I mean, you don't want it to break this level here, um, but it wouldn't even break that lower. Yeah, this is bullish overall in my point of view, my perspective. On the daily, we have, again, we're in a bullish zone. So if we have this trend line on the RSI, you can see that it's just continued to act as support on the RSI. So we can continue creeping on up. If it does break, then I expect a touch of the 38.2 or between the 61.8 and the 78.6. And let's see here. I think we also have a nice little trend line right around here. So sure enough, we are on the, if or when we do break this, we have a little crossover here and it breaks at 80 on the stochastic. We can come down and test that trend line. And if, again, it acts like support, then it just means higher highs and likely higher lows. Because even if it tests this horizontal here and keeps rolling forward, then it's just a higher low, which means that the uptrend is continuing. So if it does break that, then I see a test, again, sound like a broken record, but see it going between the 61.8 and the 78.6. So at 1375 to 1330, give or take. And then that does break, there's a horizontal here at 1258. 1256, give or take. So yeah, that's basically what I see. If you're long, just keep holding on. Now, let me just try to draw some ABCDs here and see if where we would have. So we have an ABCD going to 1600, almost on the dot. Now, do we have confluence with an extension? We can play with it here, but let's go to this swing here, and let's do an extension. And so a little bit of concern is that we have an extension at, we're touching the 61.8. So let me take off this, or let me fade it. So you can see, let me maximize this. So you can see that this Fibonacci extension going from this swing low to this swing high up here, that 1.618 is key reversal. So there's going to be a lot of people shorting at this range, which adds confidence to the idea of it rolling over, especially with the extended stochastic here. I could see it coming down and touching, so maybe having a small retrace at the very least to the 38.2. So that gives me a little bit of a target there, or a better idea of where we may be heading. That 1.618 target is huge for just shorting or people just taking profits. So that means selling. That means that price is likely to go down. I see that in the. Let me see if there's another. Yeah, we take this swing low to swing high. We can see at 1.618 and that 200% level, and we just met that target. Some people like to go from swing highs to swing lows, so even if we did that, we're in between that range. So yeah, it just keeps, there's more confidence that it looks like we may have just a healthy pullback, nothing too crazy. So again, small healthy pullback, that wouldn't stress me out at all. And as a matter of fact, I think it's just normal. You kind of want that. You don't want things to go parabolic forever because you're going to have a devastating pullback. So usually you want, you want uptrends with healthy corrections. If you're buying in, then just buy in, keep going, keep riding that wave. There's no real sign here of any overextended, except for that 1.618 extension that I drew previously. If that does hit, which it did, then we'll see the pullover. And as long as that the pullback, and as long as it doesn't break this trend line, I wouldn't be stressing it out. It just looks strong so far. So yeah, that's basically my quick analysis of Google. Of course, all these technical analysis, it can go as deep as you want. You can keep drawing trend lines. You can keep drawing a bunch of stuff. But I like to keep things pretty simple. Another nice point here is pretty much every tag of this 20 EMA acts as support. If it does break that, then the 50 EMA acts like support. So you can use those also as nice little as a help factor if you're thinking about getting some GOOG. So that's basically it. Thanks a lot for watching. If you like this video, like it. If you'd like to share it, please do. And subscribe if you can. That's going to help boost these videos, and hopefully other people can learn and get exposed to this channel. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.